Hi, I'm Tim Norton, an entrepreneur and the founder of 90 Seconds. I started my career the way I'd recommend anybody to do so. So halfway through uni, I jumped and volunteered into an IT and a marketing department of a big company. That gave me all the inspiration and current skills for starting my career. Now I studied marketing and IT. I knew the future was going to be the convergence of both these together, and that was how modern businesses were going to grow and succeed. So straight out of uni, my choice was to go for a startup, a company that needed to grow internationally. So a big global audience and a tiny little footprint where only marketing and technology were going to make the difference. 3.5 years later, we'd gone and got ourselves into Australia, Southeast Asia, and started marketing the business in the United States. We took the revenue from $1.5 million to $5.5 million, and we did that with just the right mix of marketing and technology. So my first job ended after 3.5 years. We just raised $11.2 million, and that was a cue for me to start my first business. Now when I went out there and started my first company, I had about $200,000 saved up in the bank, and I went out and started building a new software product. Great idea, awesome market opportunity, but $195,000 down the track, I had a $5,000 marketing budget and no customers. I learned a pretty tough lesson at that point in time. I'd probably better to go and market the opportunity first and then catch up in terms of delivery and making the real product. So, into the next stage in life. I approached a serial entrepreneur in New Zealand and started up a new idea called Plan HQ. This time, we started with a web page and nothing else. We hooked on the back of some other international press and got ourselves some attention. Total spend, $10,000. So I got a little bit of a taste for what you could do if you marketed something really well and how you could get attention internationally. So I jumped on a plane and went to a launch conference, and I was about to get my next lesson in PR. So I found a PR girl who was running around an event, blew my socks off when I saw her the way she was working and getting attention. So got her on board. 2 weeks later, I was at a launch event and I had a whole audience of over 1,000 people in a crowd watching my product and looking at our launch. Within the next 24 hours, I'd been flown to New York for a follow-up with an investor, and we'd been on TV 2 times. Lesson number 2, don't be afraid to tell a story bigger than you can deliver. So the PR machine had now kicked in, but the problem was I only had one brand and a tiny bit of cash flow, so it was time to double down. Other entrepreneurs were approaching me about new ventures, new opportunities. A guy came to me and said he's going to launch a magazine on startup companies in New Zealand. The magazine went out the door bundled with unlimited within 6 weeks. Suddenly we're in the magazine business. Then he was trying to turn it into a TV series on startups. Next step again, looking for a brand we could launch a nationwide community to pump all New Zealand entrepreneurs to the world. So we came up with an idea of Made from New Zealand, again speaking at an event, bumped into a guy who happened to have dug a ginormous 100-meter fern in the beach in Santa Monica a 1.5 years earlier. Enter the double down again. Lesson number 3, double down. So things were getting pretty exciting. I did a joint venture with KiwiBank on a product called Heaps, marketing to New Zealanders, helping them get out of debt. The doubling down was starting to work, but it doesn't all go that easy. Things started getting tough. We got further and further behind our marketing. Big promises, constantly opening doors, but you have to follow through and delivering behind them. When you're riding a big high, you don't know how to deal with what happens when you start coming down low. So next time round, the mistake I wouldn't make again is not communicating through our failures. Lesson number 4, always communicate while making mistakes. So 4 years in business for myself and 4 years working for somebody else. And just like I started, where I put experience first and money second, here I was. I'd pretty much lost everything. I'd had a great ride, a hell of a ride, but all I had left was my experience and a lean bank account. So it was time to do something about that, to harvest all this marketing experience. I'd seen the power of the PR, the TV, the web, the content marketing, video marketing. And that's where I made my play. 90 Seconds. On-demand video production company for the world. Growing demand for video production to service every single business in the world. And we're going to do it from here in New Zealand. And this time decided to do the exact opposite way around. Just enough marketing to get the business off the ground and get attention, and a whole lot of delivery and execution for stage 1. Lesson number 5, if you make a promise, you have to deliver. So what is marketing for a business? Marketing ultimately delivers customers into the front of the business. If done really well, marketing will paint a picture of the opportunity and a story for where your business fits in. My biggest piece of advice would be to focus on the quality of the opportunity, not on the money. There are a whole lot of jobs out there, but can you take on the challenge of going into a small team, going alongside an entrepreneur, being part of something so small that could have an impact globally? If you can, and form the essence, that brand will be yours forever.